Alright guys, welcome to the round 16 review for fantasy. Pretty solid week. We scored 22.79, which I'm really happy with. Premiums were really good this week, barring one or two players. We made a huge mistake, which probably let down our scores significantly. We fielded Finlay Macrae. Turns out he was the medical sub, and he gave us a 5 because he came on in the last quarter to play 6 minutes. So we could have taken the 57, but we got a 5 instead. So a huge mistake on my end, but yeah, I was out the Sunday, I think it was, so I didn't really check teams and see who was a sub. I assumed Brown would be the medical sub, so I didn't really worry about my team. And we fielded Macrae, thinking he wasn't going to play, so we were going to take Sharp and Newcomb score. And it was looking that he wasn't going to throughout most of the game, and then the last quarter, Dacos got injured. Macrae went on for like 6 minutes of the whole game and scored a 5, so really unlucky. But it's my fault that we fielded him. Probably should have checked the teams before they played. We could have also fielded Armatry this week, which we probably would have done if we had thought Macrae would have been the sub. And we would have got a 57 and a 70. So, I mean, mistakes happen, but that mistake was really costly and cost us about 60 odd points. So, not too great. So now we're ranked 19th overall, which we slid a couple of spots, which is fine. We would be, I think it's 14th or 13th if we had got that score from Armatry, but that's fine. And overall ranking, round ranking, sorry, of 4,001. So I'm pretty happy with how my team performed this week. Would have been a lot better if we didn't make that mistake, but barring my rookies, my premiums were really good this week. So the trades we made are Sharp in, Adams in, Brockman out, Doherty out. Doherty being out for the majority of the season, so we traded him out. And Brockman wasn't really getting named, so we decided to trade him off and go to Jeremy Sharp, who I thought had better job security than Cannoli, and his scoring ability was probably a bit better, and proved me right. He was really good on debut, or on his second game, so he looks really good. His job security looks fine. And then Taylor Adams, I talked about in my previous video, a couple of mid-priced options like DeGoey, Stringer, and Matthew Kennedy, who I all thought were really good options, and they all outscored Taylor Adams. So was it the right decision? Probably not. We could have gone a cheaper option, and then probably could have got to Dangerfield this week. But saying that, I think Taylor Adams, as long as he doesn't get injured, should be a top 10 mid for the rest of the year. We know how well he plays without Trelaw, so let's hope he can keep on dashing out these 100 plus scores and hopefully doesn't get injured. That'd be nice. But in terms of how our team went, defense was sensational. Laird, standard stuff from him, 118. Just keeps getting it done week in, week out. The same goes for Callum Mills, uber consistent, another 116, so huge score from him. Whitfield a bit down on his unders, a bit down on his usual, sorry. So he scored 85, but I still think he's a really good trade target if you don't have him. And then Jack Crisp 99, 1 off 100, but that's fine. He's still got that inside mid role. I was a bit worried that DeGoey might force him a bit out, but he's still playing inside mid, so the role's there and the scoring's still there. Stewart bounced back really well with a 110. Started off on fire, slowed down a bit, and then a massive last quarter again, like he always does. Junks up big in the last quarter, so good game from Tom Stewart. And then Highmore was really disappointing with the 42. So we'll look to move on Highmore this weekend. He's probably got a really high break even. But Bianco and Kaczynski on bench was pretty solid as well. Kaczynski will look to move him on as well. He's going down in price. And then midfield, I know a lot of people captain Jack Macrae. First less than 100 score for the year, so he scored a 94, which isn't too great. Lots of people pictured him to go big against North. I was going to captain Macrae, but we decided to put the VC on Merritt, and when Merritt scored a 143, we decided to loop him and captain Neil, who was a laid out. So I'm happy that we did that. We made the right decision, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. But yeah, Macrae, he'll bounce back. He's still a solid game from him. But yeah, he's got Sydney this week, so tough opposition, but I think he plays better against tougher oppositions. So Tim Taranto, 115, he was also pretty good. Good captain option this week against the Suns, so he should be big. Along with Josh Kelly, who I think will also have another big game. And Tom Mitchell, I think he got 30 disposals, can't remember, but yeah, 108, not a great score from him, but he'll be back to his usual when Hawthorn start playing well. But he still dashed at a ton, so can't be too angry with that, but wanted a bit more from him. And then Merritt was amazing as captain, so I'm not complaining there. Walsh, 128. Pretty standard stuff from him. He's a gun. he's going to get you 100 each week, as long as he's not getting tagged. So he looks like a really good player. Taylor Adams on debut wanted a 140, but was never going to really get a 140 from him. So a bit disappointed with the 109, but still managed to get 100. Like I said, as long as he doesn't get injured, I think he's a solid pick and should be top 10 mid for the rest of the year. And then Finlay Macrae, bit unfortunate, came on in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter and scored a 5. So I was hoping that they would just let Dacos sit on the bench and not use the sub, but they decided to. And Macrae legit played, 2% time on ground? I don't even know. So he scored a 5, that's fine. We made a mistake in putting 2 emergencies in the midfield anyway, so it was our fault. And then we took Newcomb's score 57, which is fine. Nothing too great. Jeremy Sharp was pretty good. His job security looks really good, so I'm glad I picked him over Cannoli. And then the rock department, Gorn 96 was alright, nothing too special. I think Jackson definitely affects his scoring a lot more. And then Darcy 116 was really good. Darcy's definitely top 6 forward the way he's playing, so towards the later part of the season, we'll look to flick Darcy forward and bring Grundy in. Probably trained at Hind for Grundy and flick Darcy forward. Reeves would be nice if he could get a gig. Hawthorn not going to make finals, so there's no loss in playing your rookies. So hopefully Hawthorn do give him a game soon so he can start making some more money. And then forwards this week was pretty solid. Kelly and Hall, they're probably top 3. Zeba was really good, 107, so he's looking amazing. Langford was probably the only poor performer in my forward line this week, 65. I think Stringer forced him more on the wing. He's playing more wing, less on ball. Still attended a fair few centre bounces, although he's not scoring as well as he was in the last couple of weeks playing on ball. So I'm not too sure where this pick stands at the moment. I still think he's a good option to bring in, given his upcoming opponents. Although you would probably want to see him play a bit more on ball and his scoring improve a bit more before you bring him into your side. But I think if he plays on ball, he's definitely top 6. And then Nick Hines, 73. Started on fire with 30 in the first quarter and then just faded throughout the game. So gave away 4 free kicks against, which is a bit unfortunate. But I think with his 2 upcoming games, he's got really good matchups. So we'll hold him for another 2 weeks and then offload him to Grundy. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. And then Pendlebury with a 102 was really good. Uber consistent stuff from him. So I'm really happy with my forward line, barring Langford's score. And Marty on the bench was amazing. Would have been nice if we fielded him. That would have meant we would have got like 65 odd points extra. But it's fine. And then Bramble scored a 65, so he was also really good. So in terms of my bench, a lot of my players played, apart from Williams, who was a bit unfortunate to get omitted, and Reeves. So my bench was looking pretty good this week. In terms of trades they were making for round 17, I've tried a lot of scenarios, although we can't really get to much. So bringing in a 170k defender this week is probably what we're going to be going to. For Kitsy, who's reached his high break even and he's going down in price. And then I want to trade at Highmore because we can't afford to have 40s on field. So I think Newman is probably the best option we can get to, and that leaves us with 9k in the bank. So I really wanted Dangerfield this week. I think he's a really good option, as well as probably Stringer or DeGoey. They're all really good options, as well as Matthew Kennedy. But I think Newman's probably the safest out of those 4 options, because I feel like Stringer and DeGoey, they can both drift forward and fade away throughout the game. And then Matthew Kennedy, although he's been really good last couple of weeks playing on ball, he was on track for a really poor score, and he had a massive last quarter to save his score. So I'm not too sure where he stands in terms of consistency. So I think probably Newman's probably the safest option, and he's probably the only one we can get to this week. So we're looking to go Highmore to Newman and Kaczynski to the 170k defender mid or whatever. So that's what we're looking to do this week. And then in terms of good trade options, I think that Jakey Stringer, like I said, DeGoey and Matthew Kennedy are all really good options, as well as Paddy Dangerfield. All under 700k, some under 600, so they should all be pretty good options to bring in. There's a lot of risk with these 3 picks, although I think Dangerfield's probably the safest, but they could pay off big time, so high risk, high reward picks. But yeah, those are just a couple options that I've highlighted. As far as captaincy goes this week, I think Merritt's been in some sensational form, 150 and a 148, so we'll go and put the VC on him this week, and if that doesn't go too well, we'll probably captain Taranto, I don't think fixtures are out yet, so we'll have to mingle and see where they play, as well as what time slots they play in. But at the moment, I think Merritt and Taranta are both good options to captain this week. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week.